Huge news is breaking across the financial world today. It could change everything for Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong investors. Reports are flying in that Chase Bank, one of the biggest and most respected banks out there, might be gearing up for more activity around these two exotic currencies. For years, people have been waiting for some kind of sign that major banks are finally starting to take the Dinar and Dong seriously. Well, it looks like that moment might have just arrived. Chase has reportedly shared an internal update with its foreign exchange teams, hinting at changes in how these currencies are being handled. The big question now is simple. Does this mean a revaluation could actually be coming? Stick around, because in the next few minutes, we're going to unpack what's really going on and why this might be one of the biggest financial stories of 2025. So what exactly happened? According to several financial insiders, Chase Bank recently sent out a memo to its foreign exchange and investment departments about taking a closer look at exotic currency monitoring. And guess which currencies were named directly? Yep, the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. That's not something you see every day. For a long time, U.S. banks have stayed quiet about these currencies, avoiding any kind of public stance. But this new internal message suggests Chase is paying closer attention than ever before. And here's the thing, banks don't usually shift resources toward a currency unless they see potential movement or growing demand. The fact that Chase is taking this step means something's changing and investors are paying attention. Could this be the start of something big? Or just a precaution? Either way, it's worth watching closely. To understand why this is such a big deal, let's rewind a bit. The Iraqi dinar has been one of the most talked about speculative currencies in the world for years. After Iraq's economy crashed in the early 2000s, the dinar's value took a huge hit. Since then, people have been waiting for that big revaluation, a sudden boost in value that could mean serious profits for holders. The Vietnamese Dong, meanwhile, has a totally different story. Vietnam's economy has been booming, becoming one of Asia's fastest-growing markets, and its currency has slowly but steadily gained strength. Both countries have major potential, but Chase's involvement brings a new level of legitimacy we haven't seen before. Here's what makes Chase's latest move so interesting. Big banks like Chase, Citi, and Wells Fargo have entire teams dedicated to tracking global currencies and managing risk. When they start keeping a closer eye on specific currencies, it usually means they expect changes in activity or volatility. So, Chase preparing its systems for Dinar and Dong trading could mean they expect more investor interest, or even possible shifts in exchange processes. But let's be clear, preparing doesn't necessarily mean predicting. The bank could just be getting ready for increased attention, not signaling that a revaluation is actually coming. Still, in the world of currency speculation, even a small move from a major bank can send waves through the market. Now let's talk about those numbers. Floating around 7.904 the dinar and 5.78 for the dong, these aren't real exchange rates, and they're not official. They're speculative guesses, projections, of what might happen if these currencies were to revalue or adjust based on stronger economies. Iraq, with its massive oil reserves and growing foreign partnerships, has the potential to support a much stronger currency someday. Vietnam, on the other hand, continues to rise as a manufacturing powerhouse. It's giving its dong solid long-term growth potential. But remember, these are just educated guesses, not guarantees. So, what would it actually mean if Chase is getting ready for more dinar and dong activity? For starters, it could mean customers might soon be able to exchange or even hold these currencies through Chase, something that's been difficult in the US until now. It could also mean institutional investors. Big firms and funds might start, including these currencies in certain portfolios. When a major bank begins processing or clearing trades in a currency, it gives that currency a sense of legitimacy. Suddenly, what used to be seen as a fringe investment starts creeping toward the mainstream. But let's not forget, banks also prepare for risk. The foreign exchange world moves fast. And if Chase even suspects a jump in trading volume, they'll get ready to handle it safely. That might mean updating compliance systems, retraining staff, or improving fraud detection. So, while this memo hints at growing interest, it doesn't confirm any official currency changes yet. To really see what's going on, let's look at Iraq's economic Backdrop in 2025. The country has made real progress rebuilding its oil sector, paying off debts, and forming new partnerships with big international energy companies. The Central Bank of Iraq has also pushed reforms to stabilize the dinar and strengthen monetary policy. These are good signs for the long-term outlook. But Iraq still faces political challenges and regional tensions that could slow progress. Vietnam, meanwhile, tells a very different story. It's quickly becoming one of Asia's manufacturing giants. Companies that once relied on China are moving operations to Vietnam for lower costs and better trade access. The result? Steady GDP growth, higher foreign reserves, and modernized financial systems, all signs of a currency on the rise, though likely through gradual gains. Rather than a sudden jump, let's pause for a second and talk about what a revaluation really is. When a country revalues its currency, it's not just tweaking numbers, it's a major government decision to officially raise the value of its money relative to others. That usually happens after a long period of economic improvement, and it's not something done overnight. Central banks and international financial groups plan it carefully to avoid market chaos. It's definitely not driven by rumors. Still, big banks often prepare long before the public ever hears about it. So what does Chase's move really tell us? It likely means they're seeing more customer demand for Dinar and Dong. Whether from hopeful investors or businesses expanding into those markets, Chase doesn't move resources for no reason. Their compliance teams and risk analysts are probably modeling scenarios and testing systems right now. Whether it's just a safety step or a sign of something bigger, time will tell. Not everyone's convinced, though. Some analysts think Chase is just being cautious, keeping an eye on potential market swings. Others believe this could be part of a larger shift where big banks are, slowly positioning themselves for changes in global trade and emerging market currencies. History shows these shifts often start quietly before making headlines. If Chase really is positioning for more exotic currency activity, it might encourage other banks to follow. That could lead to a wave of institutional attention and growing market excitement. But investors should be careful. Currency speculation is risky. Exchange rates can swing hard because of politics, inflation, or global shifts. Just because a big bank's preparing doesn't mean profits are guaranteed. Most financial experts say speculative currencies should only make up a small portion of your investments. Money you're okay with losing if things don't go as planned. The smart move is balancing risk with safer bets like index funds, bonds, or blue-chip stocks. Another thing to watch out for is scams. Whenever hype builds around currency revaluation, bad actors show up. They'll promise inside info, guaranteed profits, or secret revaluation dates. Hey, don't fall for it. Legit banks and governments never release this info early, and real reevaluations are announced publicly. If someone says they have exclusive access or wants you to buy before it happens, that's a red flag. Stick with verified dealers or banks and avoid shady online offers. So what should you keep an eye on going forward? The most important updates will come directly from Iraq and Vietnam's governments and central banks. Watch for official statements on exchange rates, foreign reserves, or economic reforms. Those are the real clues. Also, look for new trade deals, foreign investments, or export growth, all of which can strengthen a currency over time. As these nations continue to grow and stabilize, interest in their currencies will naturally rise. And the more financial infrastructure that develops around them, like access through big banks, the more legitimate they'll become in global markets. Whether that leads to a revaluation or just steady long-term growth. One thing's for sure, the conversation has changed. What used to be seen as wild speculation is now entering serious financial discussions. So could this finally be the breakthrough moment for Dinar and Dong investors? Maybe. Chase's renewed focus adds real credibility and energy to the market. It might take time, months, maybe even years before we see major changes. But something's definitely shifting in 2025. Big banks don't make moves like this for no reason. Whether it's a setup for something huge or just smart preparation, it's still a milestone worth noticing. The next few months could reveal a lot more, and this channel will keep you posted every step of the way. So what do you think about this major update from Chase Bank? Are we finally seeing the first signs of real movement for the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Iraqi Dinar News for more updates, analysis, and insights.